tonight's menu, chicken tortilla soup. Now this is a really easy recipe to make and it's been a family favorite for a long time. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is start with a little bit of prep work. That involves chopping up medium onion. And here's a little tip that I got when I used to work at a restaurant back in the day. If you're chopping onions and your eyes start to water, go stick your face in the freezer. It works every time. Now this recipe calls for 1 medium jalapeno. So here's a little tip. If you like it really hot, go ahead and just chop the jalapeno up and leave all the seeds. If you want to reduce the heat of the jalapeno a little bit, just remove all the seeds. The real heat from a jalapeno comes from the seeds. Now for the wine, I'm just using a Chateau Saint Michel dry Riesling. I actually use this wine a lot when recipes call for a dry white wine or an off-dry wine. It's readily available here in the Northwest. It has a good price point. But most important, it tastes good. And one thing my dad always says is, if the wine's not good enough to drink, why in the world would you put it in your food? Okay, to start, we're going to go ahead and get the fire going over medium-high heat. And we're going to start to warm up our pan. Then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Okay, so you can start to see those little shimmers in the oil, kind of little waves that are going across the top. Well, that tells you that the oil is ready for the vegetables, so we're going to go ahead and add those now. So what we're going to do is just saute these vegetables until they're soft, which usually takes about 5 to 7 minutes. So next we're going to add our 2 cups of frozen corn. We'll add our half a cup of dry white wine. And now we'll add our 4 14-ounce cans of chicken broth. Followed by our 2 14-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. Next we'll add 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. And finally for this step we'll add our seasonings. Now that we have everything added, what we're going to do is just bring this to a boil. And once it's to a boil, we're going to leave it there and let it boil for about 14 to 15 minutes. So while I'm waiting for that to come to a boil, I'm going to go ahead and take our rotisserie chicken pieces, our breast pieces, and I'm going to pull them into nice bite-sized pieces. So our mixture is finally at a boil. So what we're going to do is set a timer for 15 minutes and let it just do its thing. So this is what 2.5 pounds of shredded chicken breast looks like. Now if you don't have access to a Costco or a Sam's Club where you can buy the rotisserie chicken breast pre-packaged, you can always just buy 2.5 to 3 pounds of chicken breast at your store, put it in a 450-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes or until it's done, and then let it cool and shred it and basically end up with the same result. Okay, now this has been boiling for 15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and add our chicken breast, and then we're going to reduce the heat and we're going to simmer it for an additional 45 minutes. While the soup is simmering, we can go ahead and drain the black beans and just set those to the side so they're ready to go for our next step. Okay, now that this has been simmering for 45 minutes, we're going to go ahead and take the black beans that we've drained and we're going to go ahead and add them. And then what we're going to do is simmer these until they're heated through. So that usually takes about, 15 to 20 minutes. You can certainly let this simmer a little longer than that if you aren't quite ready to eat yet. But we're probably going to let this go about 15 or 20 minutes and then serve it up. As we wait for the black beans to heat through, I'm going to go ahead and prep some of the toppings that we're going to put onto the soup. I went ahead and got some limes and slice those. I've got some tortilla chips, and I'm gonna go ahead and do some avocado wedges. Now, you probably know, but if you don't, the best way to cut an avocado is to cut it in half and then go ahead and cut it while it's still inside of its skin. Just cut it lengthwise and then across, and then you can just use a spoon to scoop it out and put it into a bowl, and you'll have nice perfect cubes of avocado. I also went ahead and shredded some good extra sharp cheddar cheese to go on top as well.
Okay, the black beans are heated through, so let's dish it up.
Okay, so we have our soup dished up in the bowl, and now we're going to put some toppings on it. Just going to go ahead and put a little bit of cheddar cheese, some fresh avocado, fresh squeeze of lime, and we'll top it with a few tortilla chips. And there you have it, some chicken tortilla soup.